Folklore Unlocked. I'm Austin, and like always, I'm joined by Ethan.
Yep, hello again, everyone.
And this week, we are back into Greek mythology and Roman mythology because they're so similar with sirens. So, Ethan, you want to kick us off here?
Yeah. So, origins and backgrounds of sirens. So, it's kind of like we said there, Greek and Roman, so it's Greco-Roman mythological creature. And sirens are synonymous for mermaids in this part of the history. So, whenever you think of a siren, just think of a mermaid that is singing, basically, that's luring people. And it's basically a human-like being with alluring voice, and it's originally shown as either a male or female being, but by the 5th century, because the male sirens disappeared from mythology, so mostly just females now. And basically, if you don't know about mermaids, it's basically just, like a human body with kind of like a fin, like legs or tail.
Which we'll probably get to later on, sometime down the road, for their own episodes.
Mm. And now, appearance-wise, they appear in the Odyssey by Homer, with their appearance left up for the reader's imagination. So they don't really give a description of what the siren looks like or anything. So it's just up to you. And then in the Argonautica by Apollonius of Rhodes, 3rd century BC, describes sirens as a woman and part bird. So more kind of like a harpy would kind of be. And by the 7th century, the part human, part bird description was basically normal, which I mostly have heard of them as kind of like a mermaid, so a half kind of like fish, half human. And then the Ba bird of Egypt may have been inspired by this description of sirens. And then we have
No,
a picture of the like a kind of bird looking siren.
no, there's three mythologies in one episode.
Yep, Greek, Roman, and Egypt.
And, and some associations in Greek myths, sirens are associated with the lyre, Cathara, and Alice. Candy, apparently, she's getting worked up over sirens. And Roman poets have sirens on smaller rocky islands with cliffs called Sirenum Scopoli, and later traditions have a island as Anthemosa, and the location is fixed as Anthemosa. Other locations include Cape Palatom, the islands of Cyrenius, or Capri. And in all of these locations, cliffs are heavily associated with these areas that sirens are in. And not may I add, the islands of Cyrenius is ideally named for sirens, since siren is in the name.
Yeah, it's a perfect name.
And sirens were also used in Christian art during the medieval period as symbols of temptations of women.
Can't imagine why. And
Good going,
I think
good going, medieval painters.
I think it's interesting that they specifically put cliffs and like rocky outcrops where like the rocky islands, because in like especially like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that, the sirens are shown to be on there and stuff like that because it would lead the ships to the rocks to sink them, so then they could get people. So
Fun.
yeah, just very fun.
Also, I know, brother, where art thou? They also have three sirens in a dangerous place. And some other associations is in Helen by Euripides in 167. Helen called upon, quote, winged maidens, daughters of earth, which is Chthon, and siren statues have been used in funerals since the classical area or the 8th century BC. And there's a depiction of the more typical siren, or like the sirens from Open. And some depictions of family is Sophoclesian fragment has the primordial sea god, or basically the Titan sea god of Greek mythology, Phorcys as the father of sirens. Achelous, the river god, is typically portrayed as the father of the sirens. So in most depictions, Achelous is the father, and in most depictions, Terpsichore, Melpomene, and Calliope, or the three muses, are the mothers, or Sterope, daughter of King Perthaos of Calydon, is portrayed as the mother of the sirens. And Apsides claimed that the sirens were the daughters of Oceanus and Ge. And and there's a bunch of names for different sirens, but I only put in some, and they are Thelxine, Aglaopharis, and Molpe, which are sisters whose parents are Achelous and Terpsichore. And then there's Parthenope, Locasia, and Lygia, sisters whose parents are Achelous and Melpomene. Oh boy, those names were tongue twisters.
Yeah, I'm glad you did those. I wouldn't have been able to do them. Pop culture. Sirens appear in the God of War game. Then, kind of like we said in Brother, oh, Where Art Thou? There are three sirens that appear in there. And then in the Pokemon games, Popolo, Brioni, and Primarina plus Tapu Fini are Pokemon introduced in the Sun and Moon's game, are at least partially based off sirens, which I can see the Primarina line being definitely, and Tapu Fini, I mean, kinda.
More of the more human-like siren, definitely with Tapu Fini there in the bottom right.
Mm.
Definitely more of the mermaid-esque in the Popplio, Brion, and Primarina line. And on to our thoughts. I think sirens are misidentified creatures and or hallucinations based off of everything I've read. Because sailors are ancient times were on long adventures, travels, whatever you want to call them. Usually they were all men, and long time at sea, probably didn't see women very often. They go partially crazy. They see something they think looks at least partially human, and bam, siren.
Yeah, I think there's stories kind of like Austin there, possibly hallucinations from people being at sea too long. And just them being at sea and like possibly like running into rocks and stuff like that. I feel like that would possibly be like, oh, I thought I heard something or I thought I saw something and I like lost track of where the like coastline was or something like that, or I didn't see the rocks. Or it seems like a real easy way for them to be like, oh, it wasn't my fault, it was the sirens.
Exactly. But I still think sirens are interesting just because, you know, it was inspiring Greek mythology, which the Romans took up, could have possibly inspired parts of Egyptian mythology. Then it bumps into medieval Christian art, and like, oh brother, where art thou? Modern day culture.
Yeah, and Pokemon.
Yeah, and Pokemon. So this thing from ancient Greece is, you know, inspired ancient Greek art, Roman art, possibly Egyptian to modern day. So don't overlook things like sirens because they're still influencing culture today, whether or not they're real.
Yep.
But I think that's all for this week. Next week we'll be covering the Thunderbird of Native American folklore. Any last words?
Nope. Just thanks for watching, everyone.
Well, thanks for watching. If you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. If if you're on Spotify, drop us a follow there, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.